Jesus situation because it's very connected, and maybe you can respond to this, right? I believe that God is all just, and I don't believe that God will punish the innocent for the wicked. Right?
We agree.
We both agreed on Ezekiel 18, where it says that God doesn't,
I promise you, it's in the Bible.
Yeah, I know.
The same Bible that we believe in. That's the Bible we believe in.
Which one?
The one that we have.
Which one?
Well, let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Because we're talking about scripture, right?
We are talking about scripture, and yes, there are different versions, and some Bibles are different from others. And if you want to get into that,
let's not get into that.
I know, that's fine, and I wasn't going to. But the point I was trying to say here, right? We believe that God is Al-Adl, He is the most just, right? And that's part of God's love, because it's unfair that if we stand before God on the Day of Judgment, right, and that we are questioned for our actions, God is going to punish someone who is innocent of something, or He's going to blame us for someone else's action, and He's going to cast you into hell for someone else's actions. We believe that's unjust.
100%.
Right, good.
100%. So God, just to clear this bit, at the end, I'm going to stand, you're going to stand.
That's right.
God is going to ask you about you, and He's going to ask me about me.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, that's yours. Whatever I do is mine.
Yeah. No, yeah.
We agree on that.
But
we don't disagree.
But our if you have to leave, don't worry. I know you're.
We need to talk about Jesus. You promise.
I know you're in a group, so I'm considering this, right? Right. So what I'm saying is that there's two things here, right? We were first talking about alhamd, greatness and thankfulness to God, right? And I argued that as Muslims we are consistent in praising that one God, right? Because we believe that the Creator is the Creator and the creation is the creation, right? You believe, and if I'm wrong, correct me, you believe that Jesus is God, right? I would argue that there is no evidence for this, right? I would argue that Jesus never claimed this. And at best, if there is any evidence, it's ambiguous at most. Meaning that it could be opened up to interpretation, it could be opened up to different understandings, etc. Right? So I'm saying that you are praising the creation of God, which is Jesus, right? While us Muslims are consistent in praising the Creator. So I am going to ask you, right, and the floor is yours at this point, right? One, where did Jesus ever claim God, that He is part of, that He is God Himself? Where did He claim that you should worship Him alone, right? Just as the Father said that you should worship Him alone, where did Jesus ever make that claim?
There you go. Finished? All right. I will get this bit. We'll just finish the creation first.
Okay.
I will explain to you the Christian view, and I will take you to Jesus straight after. But let's agree that we're not here to debate.
No, this is a discussion. I would say this is a discussion.
So
what's your name?
My name is Mina. Hamza.
Hamza.
Hi, Hamza.
It took you this long.
No, I knew his name already.
We were working on it.
So we can stay here the whole day trying to put each other views. I will explain our view. It's up to you to believe it or not.
Fine.
Very good. And I understand your view, and I'm telling you that me as a Christian, I don't agree with it.
Fine.
Fair enough?
So we agree to disagree.
We agree to disagree. But I will explain to you the Christian view, and all of your questions, we will answer them, but without getting into debates. Why? Because the arguments are not going to go anywhere. Every question you're going to ask, we're going to have the counter argument.
That's true, but I think it's only fair.
So if you're coming with the mentality that you want to disprove something, you're going to keep on.
No. That's not
this bit up until you leave.
That's not the primary objective. But however, I just want to object to one thing you said. Right? You will be mentioning certain points which I possibly would fundamentally disagree, and I think as part of the discussion, not debate, right? That it's only fair that I would cross-examine it, right? And then we can obviously come to a conclusion whether it's right or wrong or whatever.
Very good. So we'll start the story that God created us. Why did He create us? Not to test us. God didn't create us to test us. If God created you for you to die, then He's not really a nice God. Why? Because why would God create you to die? That's the fundamental point. God didn't create us for us to die.
Then why we have a judgment day? Why we have paradise?
Very
Why
good.
we have hell?
Very good. But these were not from the very beginning the same all along. This is now. Of course. So, at the very beginning, the creation, God created us with that by His breath, correct? And as you said, He created us very different from the rest of the creation. Why? The reason that God created us is because He loves us. Yes, it's a gift. To do what with the gift? To be with Him, to enjoy being with God, to enjoy His heaven, to enjoy everything that God is. That's the purpose of the creation.
But that's
not to test.
That's not
because
an
if
answer.
this is a test,
That's preaching.
that's not preaching.
No.
I mean,
Continue.
you are spiritual, right?
No,
We don't
I'm
need
not
to be
spiritual.
emotional.
No, it's okay.
Like, it's a very logical question.
It's a
right?
very logical question.
good.
If
So
you're
why?
created to be tested, then
No,
there
not
is no
tested.
point of your creation.
No. We were created because
If
we
you're
were
created,
chosen. Yeah,
if you're
and we are
created,
Continue.
why are you created? This is the fundamental question. You're not created to be tested because God doesn't need to test you.
But it's part of the creation. We are
Absolutely not. We
Then why
fully
we have
disagree.
Judgment Day?
Very good.
Why we have hell
that's
and
later.
paradise?
But God created you in paradise. Why did He create you in paradise? Because this is the place He wanted you to live forever. If He wanted you to die, then why did He create you? God didn't want you to die. God wanted you to live forever.
Do you agree?
How?
Do you agree with me that it was in the knowledge of God
Yes, it
that
was.
whatever has happened in the past and whatever experiences that we are going through, it was in God's knowledge for that to take place.
Yes.
So in other
don't
words,
disagree with
for Adam and Eve to obviously not listen to what God has commanded them,
Did He knew that from before?
did He knew this from
No,
before?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's exactly my point.
No, it's not the
So
point.
so
This is different than why He created them. Like, whether He knew what they're going to do, that's very different. He knew that this is what they're going to do, that's fine, but that doesn't mean He created them for a different purpose. God created them to live forever. How they were going to live forever, and you said we're created differently. We need God to live. Why? Because God is the only being who exists. God is the source of life, correct? So in order for us to stay alive, we needed to be connected with Him. Imagine a light bulb, yeah? How will the light bulb have light? It has to be connected to electricity. The second the light bulb disconnects from electricity, it will be turned off.
So why we have
So
hell?
for the only way for us to sustain life is what? To stay with God. What does it mean to stay with God? This is where the free will came in. What was the free will? Guys, I have given you this gift. This gift is life itself. Stay connected with me, you will live forever. Disconnect yourself from me, you're going to die.
okay, so we
And
can.
that's what He said.
That's fine.
That's
so
not
we-
a test.
No, hold
That's
on.
a free will.
One second.
This is very different.
In that free will,
If
Oh,
you
one
have
second.
Let
One-
me finish.
okay, go on.
If you have a relationship with your wife, you're not forced to love her. You choose to love her. Why? Because in your free will, you're choosing to love your wife. And this is meaning that love has a meaning. Without that choice, without the choice of you picking to love her or not, that love wouldn't have meant anything.
Okay.
Otherwise, love me, love me, love me. We're not robots.
look, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Very
But what I'm saying to you, right, is that we have free will, right?
Yes.
And we have the choice whether to choose right or wrong.
Very good.
Within,
That
hold on one
choice-
second. Within that there is a test within that in itself, and I'll tell you why, right? Because
Yes, I agree that there is a. Let me finish. I agree that there is a test in
That's
the
it.
free will.
That's it.
But we're not created for the
no,
test.
no, hold on one second.
This is
One second.
different.
I said to you, this is what I see. This, if we go back to the drawing board, right? The Quran says that He's created man and the jinn that they may worship Him, right? And yes, we are living in a testing world, whether you like it or not, whether you deny it or not, right? And yes, we have the choice.
We have the choice. But not,
No,
we're not created to be tested.
hold
We're
on.
created with the choice.
I'm not disagreeing.
These are two
My
different
friend,
concepts.
hold on one second. We have been created with the ability to choose right and wrong, and within that's a test in itself. Would you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that.
Right. Hold on one second.
That's not the purpose of the creation. That's what I'm
I am
trying to
not
say.
saying that's the purpose of the creation. What I'm saying is that forms part of the test, right? And we are in this world, and we are being tested as we speak. I can choose to turn left, or I can choose to turn right. I can choose to take the wrong.
I'm not talking about the details of the test. Why? Because I don't want to go away from this bit. This bit that I was trying to tell you about, we have a choice. We agree on that, correct? Very good. And I have the choice at the very beginning. If you stay connected with me, you will live forever. If you disconnect from me, you will die. And that was what God have said. If you eat from the tree, you will die. Why?
Metaphorically speaking.
Not metaphorically.
No, hold on. I want to clarify. When I say metaphorically, I mean that yes, if we stay connected to the Creator by worshipping Him, by obeying His commands, by sticking to His legislations, then yes, we will live. There's no question about that. We will live.
But you're going to die.
One second. When I say this is why I said metaphorically or figuratively, and let me qualify what I mean by that, right? Because I knew you would come back with that. When I say metaphorically, I mean that we're not going to live forever in a physical realm, right? If we obey God and we obey His commandments and we stick to His Sharia, if I want to use that term, His legislations, and we follow what He's asked us to do, yes, we will die. But then when He raises us on that day, and we tried our best to follow His commandments, then He would reward us by living forever in the eternal bliss. Would you disagree with that?
Yes, I agree with what you said.
Right.
I disagree fundamentally of the purpose of creation.
Okay, so that means we have to agree to disagree on this point.
Very good. Because you're saying God that you worship created you with a body that is going to die.
Sorry?
God who you worship
Yeah.
created you with a body that eventually will die.
Yes, definitely.
Our God didn't create us with that.
Okay.
Death entered with the disobedience of God. These are very two
Disobedience of who?
of God. When we disconnected ourselves from God, when Adam and Eve disobeyed God, when Adam and Eve ate from that tree and they didn't choose God, that's when death started to come. Before that,
Did Jesus say that?
no, that's the biblical.
You see,
That's the view
hold on one second. Because you're
creation. Forget Jesus.
no, because you're giving me a biblical understanding. You're presenting.
I'm saying forget what happened.
No. It's very important because your presentation is a very.
Please, of course.
Sorry. Go on. Your presentation is very biblical, right? I don't think you're going to be. It
Why?
is because hold on.
Because it's only logical.
No, it's not logical. I don't think anyone's going to think.
If you believe that God created you to die at a certain point in your life, this is not the same God we worship. The God we worship didn't create us to die at a certain point.
Hold on. You said it's a logical belief to believe that because what Adam and Eve have done, that
I think when you say like logically, God created you not to die, but you're not dying according to your belief that you are not going to die, and God didn't create you to die, and you say at the same time, let's talk logically. This is not logic, because
So
we are
you
talking about
believe
logic.
logically that God
Aging.
created you to die.
Yes,
That's
you are
why we
human.
have a disagreement.
That's-
Do you see
that's
any
more
human
logic-
that you can die?
yeah, but
You
that's
can
more
die.
logical to believe that the fact that we are on this world in this world and that we will go through the transition of death. That's a logical belief to follow. What you're saying is not logical because what you're saying is more scripturally based. What you're saying
Why
is
is it
more
not logical?
and I tell you, very very simple. Because if I was an atheist, for example, right, I'm not going to wake up one day and think, oh, Adam and Eve, they sinned.
forget Adam and
Wait,
Eve.
wait, no, hold on one second. It's very, very no, because you're using the word logical, right? And it's not logical to wake up one day and think, oh, Adam and Eve, they sinned, so therefore, because of what they've done, death entered into the creation. That's not a logical. That's a theological belief. Am I right or wrong? It's a theological
Also,
belief.
another thing, where were Adam and Eve? Where were they? They were in paradise, right? So in paradise, do you have death? Okay, so what you are claiming, what you are saying, is unrelated to what we are talking. So we believe in Jannah, in paradise, you don't die. You're always living, forever. And that's the ultimate reward, right?
Yeah.
But the fundamental question, you are sticking to the point about why we were created. And I think, to my opinion, as someone maybe, just seeing like for 1 hour, I think this is not the topic. I think it's
Very much the topic.
I'll tell you
If we
why.
understand this,
Yeah.
we can discuss the rest.
I'll tell you why.
If we don't understand this, there is no point.
I'll tell you why. Because I don't think this is a fundamental disagreement between Christianity and Islam. I think the fundamental disagreement is if Jesus.
It is a fundamental disagreement.
I'll tell you why.
No, I'm telling you, it is a fundamental disagreement.
But I don't think it's a fundamental. I don't think today's
You
debate
guys-
is about why we were created. Rather,
You guys
who is
trying
Jesus
to talk
and who is
about
Muhammad.
Jesus. Very good. You guys are trying to talk to Jesus. Without we understand the creation, there is no point of talking
So
about Jesus.
I would go as someone, let's say third party, who is not even Muslim or Christian. Let's say someone who's agnostic, right? If I would agree what you are saying, you are preaching to me. I'm saying, you are saying that you have to be connected to God. And I'm asking you how I could be connected to God. Till now you couldn't explain how.
Because
To
you
us,
don't get there. It's very
How?
easily.
How?
If God has told us one thing, do not do. Otherwise,
okay,
you're
which is
with
religion,
me.
way of life, right?
Sorry?
Religion, which is way of life,
No.
legislation.
No. God told Adam and Eve one thing. Choose me or not choose me. Choose me, listen to what I've said. Don't choose me, then eat from that tree. He told them one thing
so
you need
about
to
the
do.
tree. Yeah.
One thing you need not to do.
But that was in paradise.
Don't eat from that tree. If you eat from that tree, you're going to die. That means that
So
you're
there
not.
was death. You said there was not death. There was no
He
death.
told them, if you eat from that tree, you will die.
So there was death.
No, there was no death.
But
If
how
you
God
eat
told
from
them
the
that
tree,
if you eat
you
it,
will die.
you're
That's
gonna
it.
die.
So, I'm so sorry you're bored.
No, I'm yawning. No, it's to get more oxygen to my lungs.
So, that's the disagreement we have. God created us to live forever. Yes? No, the only way we were going to live forever, my God that I worship didn't create me to die.
Okay, that's why I was saying.
My God,
Right.
the God of Christianity,
Yeah.
the God of all of the Christians, didn't create humanity for humanity to die.
Okay, let's establish that. 1 second, okay. Let's establish that. Okay, let's say we agree with you. So let's.
That's fundamental.
Okay, that's
Why is it fundamental?
Okay.
Because if God created you to die at a certain point in your life, then there is no point of creation.
Okay. So let's say establish that. Okay.
Very good. So, in order for me to stay alive, we needed to stay with Him. When we disobeyed Him, we were going to die. So this is a consequence, a severe consequence of us disobeying Him. When that happened, we got disconnected. We have no connection back.
You were disobeyed. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
In that disobeyment, there was no connection back to God.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to say.
Okay.
So, if what we're saying at the very beginning, my very first question to you, if God, you said that God is merciful, if God forgave you, why weren't you back in paradise?
Listen. This is what you've presented here is a theological belief, right? It's a theological belief. So when you said that if we disconnect from God, yes, of course. If we disconnect from the Creator, we've both established that we will end up in a sorry, watch out. We will end up in a lot of trouble. We'll end up in a lot of problems, in front of the Creator, because if we do not obey God, or if we disobey God, then yes, the consequences of hell is very, very high and likely. But remember, I brought it back to a very important point, which I feel that you are deflecting, right?
I'm not going to talk to you
I
about
feel.
it.
So hold on.
My question.
Hold on. Sorry, I just want to finish this point. I feel that you are deflecting this, and I am not saying that what we are talking about in the beginning of discussion is not important, because I feel that I have responded to that. But for some reason, you are repeating it quite often, as if like you're not possibly satisfied with the answer, and that's fine. And this is why I was saying we can agree to disagree on that issue. But the most important question,
We'll
which
get to
I
it
still
right
phrase,
now, if that's what you want. So, just to understand, we weren't created to die. You believe that we were created to die, and this is a fundamental difference. between what we believe in and what you believe in. We were not created to die. You believe that you were created to die, and this is fundamental.
No, but what? No, but death is part of the human cycle.
Absolutely not.
Right. What is it? Is are you gonna live forever?
That was God's creation for us.
Wait, hold on. You're in this world right now. Are you gonna die?
Hamza, that's what I was trying to explain at the very beginning. We need to understand
Right.
the creation to understand everything else.
I'm not. I never disagreed.
disagreement-
I never disagreed.
No, you are.
No, what I'm saying.
The Christian view
Right.
of the creation is humanity were created to live forever. Your point of view of the creation, you were created to die.
No.
This is
No.
fundamental.
I
Hold
have
on
a
one
question.
second.
I
No,
have a
hold on
question.
one second. One second.
In the physical
One
body.
second. 1 second. What I'm saying, we're gonna take it back to the drawing board, right? I said to you in the beginning, right, that yes, we have been created, and we live in this world, right? And part of the creation of God is that we are going through a test, and we are. And the reason, and you never disagreed with me about the discussion of free will, right? We are free will agents, right? We can choose to obey or disobey. And part of that free will, the fact that we are able to choose right and wrong, is a test in itself, right? It's a test in itself. That's the test. We can choose, hold on 1 second, we can choose to obey or disobey, right? We can choose to fornicate or we can choose to marry. We can choose to steal or we can live a righteous life. We can choose to... Exactly. So what I'm saying to you, we live in a world where we are tested. And that's the... Just hear me out. I want you to hear me out first, right? Hence why there's hell and there's heaven. There's a day of judgment because we are going to be tested. We are going to be questioned as a result of our actions. If we lived a dishonest and an unfruitful life, then the likelihood of hell is a very high destination. If we live a righteous life with our human incapabilities, we will hopefully, by the permission of God, reach paradise. But I'm going to draw it back to what I was saying because this is the most important crux of the matter, and I feel that you have completely disowned or
Today's debate is about Jesus.
It's whether Jesus being God or not.
To talk about
And you
Jesus, that's fine. But we need, before talking about Jesus,
I think we are just going around in circles.
What was your point? I didn't get your point. We agree with everything you said there.
So you come. Sorry.
I agree with everything you said there, but what was your point though?
So you came really late in
I
the
apologize.
discussion.
I'm listening.
No, you really did.
I
So
apologize.
sorry.
we agree, we have to agree that our definition of creation is different.
Okay, let's say
begin
yeah.
with.
Okay.
Why?
I'm
Because
not-
that is putting the foundations of the rest of the story. So that's where we differ. However, just for the sake of the discussion, you want to talk about Jesus? I'm going to tell you 3 things that are proving that Jesus is God from outside the Bible. Did Jesus exist as a person? Do you agree?
Yeah.
The history is proving that Jesus was a person. So we agree that
So
Jesus
define a person.
someone who existed on this planet.
Okay. When we say personhood, are we talking about a creation or a creator?
I'm talking about a human being.
Okay, fine. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Very good. So we agree on that. What did Jesus say about himself?
He said, I'm going to your God and my God.
Very good. Why
I'm
did he
going
say
to
that?
pray to your God and my God.
Fantastic.
Right?
He said, I'm going to your God
Yes.
and my God. He didn't say it like that.
He said, my Father is the Father.
So that's in John 21.
Yeah.
Sorry, John 20.
Yeah.
Do you want to open it?
Oh, yeah, why not?
He said it to Mary Magdalene, didn't he?
Yes.
Very good. What did he say exactly? John 20.
No, if you want to
Do
refute
not
that
cling,
statement,
do
you
not
should-
cling to me,
Yeah.
for I have not ascended
Yeah.
to my Father.
Ascended.
I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God.
How many gods we have? And how many fathers?
Right.
So why did he say my God and your God? Why
Okay,
didn't he
okay.
say
So-
our God?
How
Good. How many fathers we have and how many gods we have? In this
Let's take it
statement.
one at a time.
One at a time.
Why didn't he say our God?
Why didn't he say I'm God?
Are you trying?
That's the same question I'm
Are you
asking you.
trying?
Sorry, what is
So
your question?
answer?
What is your question?
Are you trying to understand
I am.
or debate?
I am. my whole point here, which is
What's your name?
Mahmoud.
محمود.
Nice
بص
to
يا
meet you.
محمود، انت عايز تسمع ولا عايز تتخانق؟
عايز الاثنين.
انت عايز تتخانق؟ يبقى أنا همشي.
لا اتخانق عفوا انا سمعتك غلط انا
There is no point of
Sorry,
you being
I
here if we're going to argue.
No, this is why I'm asking you.
You want to listen and know,
No,
or do you want to argue?
So far,
discuss.
we've had a discussion and it's been positive.
Very good.
But I don't know, there's people jumping into the conversation that's making it go all over. So what I'm saying to you, right, this brother, he pointed out a verse, and I think it's a very valid verse, right? He said, Jesus said, I am going to my God and your God.
Very good.
Right.
And my question to you,
which is,
if he is the same God, why didn't he say, I'm going to our God?
I'll answer you. It's the same question I can ask you. Why didn't Jesus say, I am God? Why did he say, I'm going to myself, I am the God, I don't need to go to anyone, I'm here, I'm a God, you should worship me, you should follow me. Why he didn't say that? That's the same logic of a question. So you're asking a question, it's like strawman argument. So my point, there are many verses, I would say debatable in the Bible, that Jesus is not God. Like the way he prayed, right? The way, like that John, verse, like I'm going to your God and my God. And clearly he didn't say, like that's not an answer. If someone, want to be a Christian and believe in Jesus as a God, you say you should believe Jesus is God because he didn't say, I'm going to our God. Because that's not, to me, it's not logical. So if you are talking logic doesn't go with Bible. Goes with Bible, but doesn't go with belief in Christianity that they say that Jesus is God.
Are you finished? No?
Yeah,
Yes?
I'll
No?
claim. I'm making a statement.
You're taking some verses in the Bible out of context.
Oh, but
So,
put
for
it.
example,
Yeah.
there is a verse that say, "My Father is greater than I," right? In the same chapter, a few verses after, Jesus say, "Me and the Father are one."
okay, wait, hold on one second. I want to
We're
respond to the
talking
first.
about different verses, taking them out of context, trying to understand.
Sorry, can I?
Jesus is saying, for example, "My Father is greater than I."
Yes.
So he's putting himself into a comparison with the Father, correct?
Yeah, so he's
Can you
making.
compare yourself with God?
No, hold on one second. There's
I am
no, hold
small,
on one,
I'm
hold on
nothing,
one
and
second.
God is everything.
One second. There is a problem here. There is a problem because you believe that the
Trinity.
yeah, you believe that the Godhead is a Trinity, and also you believe that they're all equal in that Godhead.
Absolutely.
Right. So I want to start off with the first point. I want to get to that point.
We can't keep on jumping.
No, I am
Hamza.
not
let's stay,
jumping.
let's stay.
can't
We-
keep
we-
on
you
jumping.
cannot
Lahza.
say till
We
now
have
and
to
it's
You
take
the
have
same
this point
to,
at
brother.
a time.
You have to be patient. You really
no
do,
worries.
because I am. You cannot accuse me of jumping if you haven't heard the argument.
Yes.
Because I am bringing it back to the very first beginning verse you said. You pointed to John chapter 20, where Jesus said, "My Father, I'm going to my Father and your Father." So I want to start off with that, and then I want to move on to the other
Father is
verses.
greater than
Right. So what I'm saying, right, is that number one, how can God have a God, right? If Jesus is God and He is the Almighty God or part of the Godhead, how can God have a God? If He's saying, "I'm going to my Father and your Father and my God and your God," that means Jesus is saying, "I have someone who I worship." So if Jesus has someone who He worships, that in itself is self-evident that He is not God, because God by default does not have anyone greater than Him. You mentioned John 14 verse 28. Going to the next verse you've quoted, John 14:28. "My Father is greater than I," right? So Jesus is admitting, he's giving a testimony that my Father is greater than I. No one can be greater than the Father. So Jesus by default, just from that verse alone, cannot be God because He makes Himself lesser than the Father. He is subordinate to the Creator Himself, right? The other point I want to mention, right, is that Jesus said, "I and my Father are one," right? Now, the Greek word used here, I'm not sure how familiar are you with Greek. Are you familiar with? Right. The word used was henna, hen. Jesus said in John 10 verse 28, right? This is where that verse has been taken from. Jesus said in John 10 verse 28, He said, "My Father is greater than all," right? My Father is greater than all. And then He said, "I and my Father are one," right? So we need to understand what is the understanding, the correct understanding to best represent this verse, because there's two contradictory statements here. If
Very
Jesus
good.
is...
So just from what you said something very funny. I'm sorry, Hamza.
Go ahead.
You're saying we need to understand the verse. So you want to explain to Christianity what the verse means?
Is there anything
No,
wrong
no,
with this?
Sorry?
Logic.
Sorry, no,
Explain
hold on
it.
one second. No, hold on one second.
So you-
Is there anything wrong? Sorry, I want to question this, right? Because if I have an incorrect understanding of something, and this is where we have to lay aside our pride.
No, of
No,
course.
no, we have to lay aside our pride because, see, if someone says, you as a Christian, you as a no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But if someone says, you as a Muslim is telling a Christian about my faith, they could get involved in this.
Why,
So what
why
I'm
did I
saying,
mention this? Because
yeah,
up until the year 600 and something, there was no Islam, right?
No, we
No,
believe that
no,
Islam
we-
came from Abraham,
we believe
from Adam. That's what we
There
believe.
was no Quran.
There was no Quran, but there was.
Up until then, there was Christianity.